What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla King of the Monsters discussion video. So this one's going to be another Godzilla Explained. Today we are going to be jumping through the entire end credits montage that plays. If you want to see my breakdown for the actual post-credit sequence featuring Charles Dance, Jonah Allen, go and watch that. It's a separate video. You're not going to see that here. We're not even going to talk about it. So go watch that one instead. As for this one, full spoilers for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Let's jump into it. Starting with something that I overlooked initially. I really didn't think it was going to be important, so I skipped it. But Michael Doherty confirmed on Twitter that the redacted text is very important for Godzilla. It tells a story, he said. So the redacted text is the text that's blocked out. So if you read it before it's blacked out, what does it talk about? First off, it just talks about Monarch as a new submarine that they're using. Cool. Doesn't really matter. Then it talks about how the Hollow Earth civilizations are proof that there was a point when humans had relationships with the Titans. People are scavenging fallen Titans in the modern day, that the Titans' bodies are being used on the black market essentially. Back in the day, people used to live by nice Titans in a way to ward off evil ones so that the good Titans would fight the bad. There's evidence that people have been able to develop telepathic communication with certain Titans, clearly setting up for people like Dr. Chen and Dr. Ling to have telepathic communication with Mothra in the future movies. That's great. I love that. There was attempts to utilize the Titans for warfare both previously and currently. This was the previous cause of certain Titans rebelling and becoming aggressive against humanity. This may have been the cause for the fall of the old civilization. So this is what led to the downfall of that civilization we see underwater in King of the Monsters. There was a massive war between what was at one point a very advanced civilization that was run by man and the monsters. Most of humanity died, and most of the knowledge of the Titans died with them. Then the Ice Age hit, and other climate change set in, and all the Titans had to move into the hollowed earth to survive. Humanity soon forgot the stories of the Titans, and although the stories tried to be passed down, people would try and pass them down orally, they became nothing more than myths, and there was no evidence to support them. Monarch believes that there are more dormant Titans in the modern day that have not woken up as a result of Ghidorah's cries, and that they are currently living underpopulated cities and other areas. And it does say that at least a few new Titans have definitely been found living under modern cities that are very populated. And then there is worries that ancient rivalries lurk within the Titans. The question is how long until those rivalries are reignited, very clearly setting up for Godzilla vs Kong. Let's get into the newspaper clippings. This is where it gets really crazy, and this isn't just newspaper clippings, this is the full montage. So there is, oh boy, there's a lot. We're gonna go through each article, everything like that. I read it all. I legitimately read all the articles, not just the headlines. I read the articles so that you don't have to. First of all, it's a great Easter egg reference to the Godzilla 2014 trailers, with a trailer style Godzilla King of the Monsters logo being shown. I love that. I love that logo so much. The montage that plays is very similar to both the intro for Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island. Myth is seen as our compass, as images from all sorts of different religions and mythologies are shown. There is a returning highlights reel from Godzilla 2014, ties everything together, makes us feel like we are really ramping up for something big in this next year with Godzilla vs Kong. We see clips from both versions of the Project Monarch montage. So that's the version from Kong Skull Island and the version from Godzilla 2014. The first news article that we see is Titans returning to natural environments. Basically, it just details Monarch's history and establishment in 1946 after the sinking of the USS Lawton at the hands of Godzilla in 1943. It definitely confirms that Godzilla is the one that sunk that ship from Kong Skull Island. It continues to mention the attempts to kill Godzilla through 1954, but the big takeaway is that the Titans are headed home. They are not destroying cities, they are headed home. Monarch has supposedly released 60 years worth of documentation on the Titans, so now everyone knows everything about them. During the montage, we see footage of moths flying around, hinting that Mothra will return. The next article we see says Rodan nesting in volcano north of Fiji. So there you go. It's pretty similar to what he does in the 1964 movie Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. The article talks about Truman funding Monarch in response to Godzilla destroying the Lawton, and then it continues to mention the Godzilla attacks and the 2014 Muto attacks. It also talks about San Francisco's downfall. Mysterious rainforest blooms in Sahara Desert. So this article is clearly referencing the effects of some Titan passing through or under the Sahara Desert. It mentions the economic problems associated with trying to fix the world in this post-kaiju world, essentially. I mean, everything's destroyed now. It talks about the public now viewing Godzilla as a hero, and they start to trust him. I wonder if that trust will be betrayed in the next movie. It mentions how the Titans have specific radiation that restores life rather than kills it. There is also a little snippet about giant pandas starting to pop up in China, and apparently these giant pandas are so popular that they have brought in $3.4 million worth of tourist revenue, and there has been a big economic boom in China as a result. It also talks about how 14 species have been taken off the endangered species list, as we'll see a little bit later. Monarch, decades of secrets revealed. Now Monarch is operating with full transparency. I think this might be a little sneaky Easter egg here. This article was written by Mike D. Hardy. That's a very similar name to Mike Doherty, so I think that might be an intentional Easter egg. There is a new head of Monarch that is confirmed, implying that Serizawa, the guy who died, was the previous head of Monarch, and there are new quote-unquote big, that's important, plans for dealing with the Titans. So Monarch has big plans on how to deal with the Titans. We will speculate on what those big plans are coming up here soon and in a separate video down the line. Mostly because we're not going to go in depth with anything in this video. We're just going to cover it just so that you know what's in the credits, and then I will do different theory videos for what I think is really important later on down the line. Godzilla's path through Pacific brings life back to reefs, restoring fish populations. Turns out this does not offset the effects of the oxygen destroyer, so I was wrong about that in my post-credit scene breakdown. The oxygen destroyer has just ruined that area. But we do find out that life has been restored to Bikini Atoll, where the atomic bomb was set off, or I guess it's a hydrogen bomb was set off in 1954, and off the coast of Brazil. Monarch confirms ancient Greek origins of squid-like titan known as Scylla. There's nothing really to say here other than, like, yeah, Monarch is acknowledging that the name comes from mythology. They're just tying it all together. Myth is our compass. It's all real. This article I find most interesting is that it's written by The Guardian. Most of these do come from real-world outlets, which I think is a cool way to do some real-world world building inside the MonsterVerse. Godzilla keeps Titans in check. Godzilla has apparently had to defend cities against multiple Titans who aren't necessarily bowing down the way he would like them to, who are disturbing the natural order. So he's doing this to preserve the peace, essentially. The public has started to trust Godzilla as a result, and the public apparently has no trust for Monarch. They do not believe that Monarch has always known Godzilla was a good guy, and they deny Monarch being able to be aware of Godzilla being the natural balance in our world. Behemoth Titan restores deforest regions in Amazon. Behemoth is the big mammoth Titan. I guess he crossed through the Amazon before going home, or maybe that is his home. I don't know. Scylla slows ice melt in Antarctica, stabilizing sea levels. I have no idea how he did that, but I don't think we'll be seeing much more of him considering he just went and got frozen. And ecosystem heal. 14 species taken off endangered list. So there we go. We have that returning headline. That is what connects to the article. By the way, the articles are all kind of all over the place. There's very clearly articles written for certain headlines that they just copied and pasted into other headlines and spliced it all together to make it look like there's a lot more writing than there actually is. They just repeat over and over again. I think it's real funny that some people don't credit the Titans. They are unwilling to accept that the Titans have had a positive impact on our environment, and they credit this 14 species being taken off the endangered list to hybrid cars. Hybrid cars saving the environment. Ancient rivalries between Titans suspected. Again, it's setting up the grudge match between Godzilla vs Kong. It mentions that people are worried about a grudge match breaking out. It's all just setting up for the fact that Godzilla and Kong have crossed paths before. It's just doing some world building that way, saying that, yeah, this is not going to be the first time they fight, or at the very least, it's not going to be the first time this Godzilla fights a Kong. Probably Kong has never even seen Godzilla before. There's a little goofy article written about how Godzilla has been spotted off a cruise ship in Cuba, kind of a reference to the original 1954 movie where Godzilla appears off the side of a cruise ship and freaks everyone out. If you look at the trending tab, I think this is probably the best part of it, is you can see on Twitter that hashtag Scylla is trending along with hashtag Monarch Secrets, hashtag Godzilla, hashtag Hello Monsters, hashtag Godzilla, Hollow Earth the topic, hashtag King of, hashtag Climate Change, and Titans. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If all these monsters did wake up, I guarantee they would be all over Twitter. I wonder what Reddit is like right now in this MonsterVerse, because you know Reddit had already cracked the case. They were already on top of it, so it's just a matter of, like, who's getting the credit for being the first Reddit guy to crack the Monarch code. Titan Waste could be vital energy source. This is probably a Pacific Rim reference, if anything, because they talk a lot about that in Pacific Rim. It's just talking about how Titan Waste is going to be used for, like, fertilizer, essentially. The article mentions Skull Island, but that is a snippet from a different article. The Titan Waste itself comes from the Titan Behemoth, not Skull Island. It's not like they're going to Skull Island to seek out Titan Waste. Are prehistoric plants new superfood? This article is all about the potential to end world hunger using these prehistoric plants, just showing the positive impact that these Titans have had on the environment. Echolocation is seen returning. This is being brought back from Godzilla 2014. Joe Brody really could have been helpful in creating the orca, because he was already on top of all that way back in the day. Seismic disturbances reported on Skull Island. So this one is definitely going to be something that we have to dedicate a full video to. All of this Skull Island stuff, I will be doing a full video to, so we're not going to really cover it here. Again, I'm just going over the bullet points so that you know what these articles say. Yeah, there is seismic activity on Skull Island. Researchers don't know why life grows so well and so large on the island, but they are trying to figure it out. New titans drawn to Skull Island. That is going to be very important, I think, for setting up the fight between Godzilla and Kong. Monarch boosts forces around Skull Island. Monarch is very involved with the island. The island has become supposedly unstable in some way or another. I don't know what that means. Like I said, we will do videos on it. Multiple missions have been sent to the island. It is said that the island is strangely important to Monarch. The public wants to know what the heck's going on there. The island is speculated to be the birthplace of all titans, so not just some of them. All the titans have originated from Skull Island according to Monarch theories. The public is worried about weaponized titans. Monarch denies building a mech on the island, a potential reference to Mechani-Kong, Mechagodzilla, or maybe even Mecha King Ghidorah, who I think we got a hint to in the post-credit scene. Dr. Lee Rosa says there is no Mecha Kaiju. However, he also seems like a bit of a nut job because he mentions how the Mutos were an inside job. He thinks the Mutos were an inside job, and he does talk about how there have been attempts to create Bio Kaiju before that failed, a potential setup for someone like Biollante to enter the MonsterVerse. Uncovering the Lost World. Basically, it's just the public being like, wow, Atlantis seemed like a real thing, and it's Godzilla's temple, and then Dr. Serizawa blew it up. Monarch finds massive egg. This is pretty dang important. I mean, it's speculated to be an insect egg. It's speculated to be the second Mothra. An article written by Steve Martin, which is a great Easter egg to Godzilla 1956, you know, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Steve Martin was Raymond Burr's character. The egg was found in Mothra's territory. It is now in Monarch containment, and Michael Dougherty did confirm on Twitter that Mothra lives in a cycle, so she will return. Well, not necessarily she will return on screen, but in universe she will return. He also confirms that between the time that Mothra does her God Rays, her Queen of the Monsters scene, and the time that Godzilla does his atomic breath fire up called Arms in the Sky, Mothra flies to China and lays an egg. Monarch to explore Hollow Earth. So they're looking for the origins of the Titans. Sounds like they are searching beneath Skull Island. They think that is the origin point for the Titans. Skull Island is the only entry point for the Hollow Earth that Monarch seems to be using, considering Serizawa blew up the only other one they found, which was in the Bermuda Triangle. We see lots of footage from Kong's Skull Island return, which is super cool. I love it. I loved that. When it was happening on screen, I was literally cheering in theaters, waiting to see if we would see a glimpse of Kong during all that. It's so cool. And then you finally end with the article, What's a King to a God? Making fun of essentially the fans. It's making fun of the fans who always use that dumb quote to try and be like, how can King Kong even fight Godzilla? Even the movie is aware of it. Even the movie is self-aware. They're goofing on you too. Kong is going to be powered up. Just wait. We see a cave painting representing Godzilla and Kong fighting. It's showing that they have crossed paths before. The species have crossed paths before. It is depicting an equal-sized Kong fighting an equal-sized Godzilla. I think that's fairly significant, the fact that they are equal size. And it also is a really cool way to tie it back to the ending of Kong Skull Island. I will be doing in-depth discussions on Godzilla vs Kong, all of the stuff we learned from the end credits and how that relates to the movie, how it sets up for Godzilla vs Kong, in addition to a future video all about Mothra and how we might see her again and what she might do in the MonsterVerse, separate from my Mothra Twins Explained. It'll be a totally different video. I will be doing all of that here to come in the next few days, so look forward to that. As for this one, I mean, it's kind of an explained video, but it's also just me helping you guys out because it goes really quick, and not all of us were fortunate enough to have seen the movie as many times as I have with The Notebook, and I can show you, filled with just pages upon pages of notes that I took while watching Godzilla King of the Monsters, just to make sure I could get all this stuff for you guys. It's also like the writing gets all over the place in certain places because it was dark in the movie and I couldn't really see what I was doing, so my writing gets a little jumbled at times. But not all of us are fortunate enough to do that, so I'm helping you out with this video. I hate to do this. I really absolutely hate to start doing this, but if you guys could like the video, that actually helps the channel. YouTube's algorithm is kind of horrible. The only way it promotes videos is if the videos get liked, so if you could like the video, that would really help me out and I would really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. D-Man out.